What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Run Pure Sports. Bringing to you once again, we have the PGA DFS and Bet Show. We got an awesome crew tonight. We got Snyder, we got Uncle T, and then we got our boy, Drew Matthews, Red Kachik, a former Millie Maker winner in the PGA streets. And where did he win that Millie at? Right here, I believe, 2017 or 16?
18.
18. Okay.
I'll keep my wedding anniversary right.
That's nice. Drew, let's bring you in first, man. You've obviously, taken down a Millie Maker here at this event at Augusta at the Masters. What's going on, my man? How are you doing? How are you feeling heading into this week?
Yeah, doing good. I actually like their contest allotment this week, dropping it down to the $10 instead of the $20. That gets expensive pretty quick for people throughout the season. So we'll see if they keep that $10, $100 segmented like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Masters is pretty special. I remember in high school sneaking off to my my golf coach's class, and you could watch On the Range pretty much all day. So yeah, this is probably obviously it's the best week of the year. All the other majors are great too, but the Masters is just awesome. So always enjoy watching, and honestly, I like leading up to the Masters the most. I mean, honestly, see the guys on Tuesday and Wednesday before the Masters is pretty fun.
So and all right. So Drew, before I kick it to the other guys, who was it that got it done for you back in 2018? I know Patrick Reed. That's the year he won, right? Yeah. So he was obviously one of them. Who else was in that lineup?
Yeah. It was Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, Bubba Watson, Russell Henley, Patrick Reed, and honestly, you got a luck box somewhere, and Charlie Hoffman's ace on 16 did it.
Nice.
Charlie Hoffman used to be a staple here at Augusta.
Yeah, first round. Constantly was first round leader, Charlie Hoffman. Yeah. TJ, I appreciate this comment. And anytime we talk about Justin Thomas today, take a drink. I got myself an old fashioned right here. Go get yourself a beverage. We're gonna have a good time. Uncle T, with the water. Uncle T, my guy down there has he's crushing blue cans left and right. So I'm glad to see that Uncle T has the water. I'm just kidding, obviously. Uncle T, let's keep it with you. How's it going, my man? How are you feeling about the Masters this week?
Yeah, I feel real good. It's a fun week, obviously, for us guys that follow it like we do. It's every day, really, it's something, right? It starts on Monday. I kind of started doing some prep on Sunday, like you guys probably did too. You got the par 3 contest tomorrow with the spouses and kids and stuff that I think is pretty cool to watch. But no, good to have Drew. Good to see him back on one of our shows. He always has some great content. Have a good time hanging out with him. And AP, I want to thank you for the $100 bill last week. You paid for my dinner on Saturday, so I appreciate that.
He's got to show me up. How fast did I send you that money, Uncle T? How fast did I send you it?
You were almost doing the reverse jinx on yourself.
Benyon was still golfing. He was still out there, and I sent the money. I knew it.
You were wanting to know what my Venmo was.
That's what I do.
Yeah, but no, it's a fun week. Looking really forward to breaking this down. We'll probably go over an hour tonight for sure with 4 of us on here. It's a lot of fun. I think there's some different angles we can play. Obviously, course history here is one of the more predictive courses as far as that goes, as far as success, and we'll talk about that as we go into it. But no, real happy to be on here and looking forward to the Masters this week.
So as I kick it over to Snyder, it's interesting. And kind of funny. My wife was making fun of me, but I rewatched our show from last year. Snyder, we had Locks. Locks actually might make a surprise guest at some point tonight. Hopefully he hops on. We'll get a five-man booth going for just a little bit. But as I'm kicking it over to Snyder, so I was re-listening to our show last year, and we actually got one thing like spot on that was really good, and that was we're very high on the live guys. So if you remember back to last year. A lot of people didn't really know what to expect from the live guys, and that was a stance that we got very overweight on them. Now, I was not on the right ones. I was on Mito Pereira and Jason Kokrak, who both sucked, but a lot of the live guys did very good. Snyder, you were very high up on live. How are you feeling this week heading into it? Do you think the live guys are gonna show up again this year?
Yeah, I think so. The only bad thing is that we're not going to get the free square of Brooks this year. I think he was like 7,600 or something last year coming into this. He's up in the 10K range, as we'll get into him though. But yeah, looking forward to this event. I think the live guys are going to continue to crush. I almost think like these live guys. This is their only really like path to some of these other majors. So the live guys coming here, I think they're going to be more focused than some of the PGA guys, as they need this event to. If they win this event, they will be into the other majors for years and years to come and such.
Yeah, very good. And it's, I think just like Rom, it seems like he was hoping the partnership or whatever would have moved on a little bit faster, but that obviously is kind of stalled, which makes sense. But that's another topic for another day. Snyder, let's keep it with you. Before I kick it over to you to give us a course breakdown, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. It helps us out a lot over here at Run Beer Sports. Snyder, give us a course breakdown for the Masters this week.
Yeah. Hello, friends. It's time for the best event of the year here in the Masters. Augusta National is going to measure 7,545 yards. It's going to feature some wide fairways here. They got 76 acres of fairways to be exact. Here at Augusta, they mow the fairways. They mow them towards you, so the tee shots play into the green to minimize the rollout here. This effectively makes this course play a lot longer. It's going to play potentially up to like 7,800 yards when you factor in the less rollout and such. The last 3 years, the average score has been just over 73. As this course is tough to score on, and Tiger talked about there's only about 18 flat lies on this property, and it's the tee boxes here. So many of the shots you're going to have golfers striking the ball above and below their feet. Tons of undulation here. The greens are going to measure. The greens are going to measure 6,486 square feet on average. They are the best greens in the industry. They're going to be putting at around 14 plus on the step meter. The way that these greens are built with these undulations and contours and tough pin placements make it very tough to have like good birdie chances to come by. This is especially since most of the pro shots are going to come from 175 and plus. Golfers are going to see some tough runoff areas around the greens as well. Last year, only 61% of the greens were hit in regulation. The par fives are where golfers must attack. You got to be able to score on these par fives if you want to move up the leaderboard. The biggest key to success here as well is you got to have the ability to be patient here. Wait for your chances to attack. If you get in trouble, you just got to take your medicine and move on. Make sure not to try and limit the times you try and force something here, because if you force something, this course will make you pay for your poor shots here. Some other key stats to be looking at this week. Strokes gained approach, bogey avoidance, Masters experience, off the tee with an emphasis on distance, around the green with an emphasis on scrambling, and then putting with an emphasis on bent grass.
Yeah, very good. Snyder, what do you think the winning score is going to be? Great question right there from our guy. Cap-wise, what do you got the winning score at? I think like 14, 15 under. I could be way off. I haven't really thought about it that much yet, but
I think it depends on the weather and what they do for Thursday. So the weather is going to be pretty poor Thursday. I'm not sure if many people are even going to be able to stick a peg in the ground Thursday, but I think the winning score will probably be somewhere around 11 to 15 under is what I was going to say.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Let's get into it though, guys. Obviously, with four of us, take a little bit longer, and that's fine. It's Masters Week. It's a major. We typically, as Uncle T said, we take a little bit more time to get through things, especially this week being Masters Week. And I will say, like, my one advice just from been doing this a lot. We've all been doing this a long time. But just this week, it's so tempting to build that balanced build. It really is. Look at pricing. A lot of soft pricing there in the mid-tier. I'm telling you, go look at the winning lineups each and every year. There's always that surprise guy, as Drew said, that pops in there, that gets in there. Last year, Phil Mickelson. No one played him, but man, if you played Phil, you were set up very well to have that optimal lineup. So keep that in mind as far as roster construction goes. I'm going to keep this simple. Uncle T, I'm going to start with you. Then we're going to go Drew. We're going to go Snyder. As we do each and every week, we always go tier by tier, starting with the 10K, the studs, 10K and upper range. That's Wyndham Clark all the way up to world number one, Scotty Scheffler. Uncle T, What are you doing this week with the studs?
Yeah, I think before I get into the top range, I think one thing to think about, and most people already know it, but the pricing came out obviously pretty early. So, a lot of talk, and I even had someone message me on how we're going to handle McCarthy. And I know that's going to be later on in the show, 6,200 down there, I think he is, or 64, whatever he is. And it'll allow you to do a lot of things playing Scotty. So, but anyway, that never here nor there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Scheffler up top. I kind of was hoping he would be closer to 12.5, 12.6, 12.7, to be honest with you, to where it would have given me more of a decision. And then in turn, if I wanted to play him, and I am going to play him, maybe a bigger gap there between him and Rahm, which is, only $900. But I'm gonna play Scotty still. Obviously, I don't need to go too much into Scotty. He won at Bay Hill in the Players, and he's just been crushing at these majors the last, 2-3 years. I think he's got top 10s in 8 of his 11 majors, which is just incredible, because if you go back, obviously, a couple years ago when he first started playing these majors, he wasn't really the golfer that he is now, which is clearly the number one guy in the world. So I'm going to play Scotty at 12-1. We'll talk about later on in the show about how easy it is. I know, AP, you mentioned the balance build on majors sometimes with the softer pricing. A lot of people do gravitate towards that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, I'm gonna play Scotty. The big decision for me is going to be, I want to play one, maybe 2 more of these guys though on my non-Scotty teams. I want to be able to get the win equity up top this week, and I do feel like, clearly, without sounding like these guys up top are just got the best chance. Chef, and then Rahm and Rory. I need to make a decision. Wyndham Clark just feels really out of place. He's clearly been playing really good golf, second or third best player the last couple months, but he's 45, 46, 47 to 1 to win the golf tournament. He's at 10K. First time playing here. I just can't do it for Wyndham. So he's going to, you'll get him probably sub 10% up here. That'll be the only case I can make for Wyndham, but I'm going to be out on him. Brooks Koepka is interesting because, he's one of the live guys that hasn't been playing as well over there. And I know I'm kind of jumping around, but he hasn't been playing as good over on the live tour. But it's Brooks Koepka, and he's still sitting at 18 to 1. He'll be probably, I think him, Rahm, and Rory will be similar ownership. I think Scotty will be close to 30. In some of the other bigger tournaments, I think he might be higher. But I'm going to probably find 2 of these 3 or 4 guys, maybe 3 of them. I'm going to see how you guys think. But right now I'm leaning towards Rory over Rahm. And I don't really know why. I just think I feel like Rory's going to play well. I just don't like him as much as I like Scotty in this situation. And then Rahm, I don't know. I just feel like Rahm, when he left, this is his first tournament back. Clearly he's a really good player, but I don't know. I feel like I need to axe Rahm out of this group and play Scheffler, Rory, and Koepka. But I really like Scheffler up top. I'm going to probably use him on my main team, and then just see how it plays out. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys play this out. But Clark, definitely a fade for me in the top range.
Yeah, I agree with that approach. And especially when you're looking at the $10 Millie Maker on DraftKings, you have to, you can't play everyone. Okay. You got to, sure, you could sprinkle it around and you could get shares of, each, stud in this range. The problem with that is you're likely going to end up underweight relative to the others that you're competing against. And this week, especially because it's obviously a smaller pool of players, we get a higher 6-6 rate each and every year at the Masters. You got to take some stands, and especially up top. So I like that approach, Uncle T. I am with you actually on a couple of those plays. Drew, let's kick it over to you. Wyndham Clark, first time playing here, all the way up to world number 1, Scotty Scheffler. Obviously, we got Brooks Koepka, and then Rory. Can Rory get it done, complete the Grand Slam? What's your take on this top range?
Yeah, so I'll probably be the black sheep of the group. I'm probably gonna fade Scheffler in the $10 milli. I got him at 30%. I think Sabre had him like 22%. I don't see how that's gonna happen. He's got to be 30 plus in that field. So I'm going to lean into Rory quite a bit this week. Actually, I think he's rounding into form. Obviously, he's played very well at Augusta. Hasn't got it done, but played very well. I'm not worried about the two missed cuts in the last 3 years, but Rory's the guy up here that I'm really going to spend up for. I'll definitely have a sprinkle of the live guys as we go down. Rahm's a little bit expensive, and he's a little bit high owned for what I would like to pay for him at 11-2. But certainly Brooks is in play. I got him at 13% at 10-2, and Snyder hit it right on the head to start the show. So, yeah, my take. So like, it's interesting when the guys went to live. Just a quick side story. Rahm went over right after he won Augusta. When these guys get Augusta, when they win the Masters, they're going to come back for life for most of their life. And if they play well here, they're in the rest of the majors for the rest of the year. So like the big sticking point for live right now is these other guys can't get into the majors. Well, the Masters is that avenue for them to get into the majors if, live never lets them, or the world golf rankings never let them. So I think there is a lot of motivation for the live guys. So, like I said, Rahm's a little bit expensive, but I see no reason to fade Brooks. I like Rory up here the most. I'm going to be, probably double the field if he's going to be 17% owned. And then Wyndham's just an odd guy up here. I mean, at 10K, he's we were joking in the chat earlier, he's a debutante, but it just doesn't make sense to pay up for a 10K Wyndham Clark. He's playing great, but even like look in the last couple of years, like these guys that were really good coming in, they finished like 21st or worse. Like there really hasn't been a great, a great stud that came in and played well their first year here. So I'm going to lean into that history. Rory's the guy up here for me, and I will be fading Scheffler. I think in cash or like any type of single entry stuff, you want to probably jam Scheffler with another top guy. But for me, the $10 milli, 30% just screams find something else, and Rory's that guy for me.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up such a good point. I mean, John Rahm, first time he played here, T27, Scotty, T19. I mean, yeah,
it was bad, but I mean, 10K, you're cutting your ownership on other plays.
Tom Kim, who came in last year in a lot of form, bad form, we'll get to that range, obviously, but T16, I think, last year. I'm actually just going off of, I just finished up, what's that, on Netflix, Full Swing. That was, yeah, and that actually, like, the thing about Rory that I like, a lot of that makes sense now when you just think of the pressure that he was under. We didn't get the backside view, a glimpse into. We knew kind of he had a lot of pressure on him, but we didn't know the full extent of it. And so I thought Full Swing gave kind of an interesting view into what Rory specifically was dealing with all through that. So I'm with you on him. So that's we got Drew, we got Uncle T, and then I'll get to mine, but I definitely like Rory this week. Snyder, I think he's going to be the odd man out on Rory, but Snyder, talk to us about this 10K and up range. I kind of think I know where you're at, but what are you doing with this range?
Yeah, I'm gonna take some stands up here. I'm gonna play two guys up here. I'm gonna play my guy.
Wait. Scotty and Brooks Koepka, right?
I mean, that's a pretty good guess.
But, I like it.
Yeah, the last time we saw Scotty, he was missing that 5-footer to force a playoff there in Houston. He was looking for 3 straight wins, had to settle for that second place. And the last time we saw him here at Augusta, I think was his absolute floor. I believe he missed 21 putts inside 12 feet last year, losing over 4 strokes putting, finished T10, which I think is his absolute floor at this event. I also like him. I think this course just sets up so good for Scotty the way he plays. Just listening to that podcast with his coach talking about his imagination and everything since he was a little kid growing up, how he used to just sit on the range and watch guys hit certain shots, and he would just mimic what they were doing. And he's become super good at all. And like Augusta here, you have to have like an imagination to play some of these shots. I think he's got every shot in the bag needed. And he's actually been putting better. 3 straight events, gaining strokes putting. If he can putt to a 0 here, I think he's the only guy in the field that could run away from everybody in this field. If anybody's going to win this event by 5 or more shots, I think Scotty's the only guy in the field that can do that. We've seen it in the past. And 12-1, I think that's still a good value on him. He won this back in 2022. Last year, I thought was his floor game at this event. I think he's definitely hungry and motivated, especially missing that 5-footer last week. I think he's going to come in well motivated. I've heard some rumblings about him actually putting well in the practice. People are following him on Twitter and such during these practice rounds. It seems like he's rolling the ball well around there. So I'm going to be heavy on Scotty. I know he's going to be 30%, but I'll probably get 50 to 60% of him. I might even lock him in some contests and stuff, but definitely just going to keep playing Scotty. And then BK, I'm going to go to the 5-time major winner here, who's won 5 majors before Rory's even won 1 in that time span. I really don't put much into BK's recent form, non-major recent form, because he's just the kind of guy that just kind of floats along. Like at Darrell last week, he shot 66, I think, day 1. And you could tell he just mailed it in those next 2 days. He kind of found what he was looking for, I think, in that first round, and then took the rest of the weekend off. He's like, I'm just switching my motivation to Augusta this week. If you look at his course history here, I mean, outside of those 2 years where he was dealing with that pretty bad knee injury there, he missed a cut there on those 2 knee injuries. So 1 year he couldn't even bend his knee. And then he was T2, T7, and T2 the other times. I think his 6th major is definitely coming this year. And I think this Masters has been coming for a while. I think this year he finally gets it done. So, and you know what BK says when he comes into these majors, he feels that at least half the field is dead upon arrival. He's just going to roll in. And he's actually got a pretty good tee time. I was looking at the waves a little bit, and if they don't play much Thursday, there's like a 99% chance of thunderstorms in the morning. So and high winds, so potentially it could get pushed back. And the weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday looks much better. So I think he could potentially be on the right side of the wave advantage too. So heavy on Scotty and Brooks on the top here and fading the rest. Scotty's like minus 180 against Rahm, minus 180 versus Rory. So I'm just gonna play Scotty in the heavily backed markets.
Yeah, I mean, those head-to-head odds are pretty indicative to how good Scotty Scheffler is. The one thing I'll add to Scotty is, and we highlighted this going into, I believe, the Houston Open, but he was positive in gaining strokes putting in, I think it was 4 of his last 5 events. He actually gained half a stroke at the Houston Open, even though it seemed like he struggled with the putter. The last time he did this, the last time he had a similar profile headed into an event was when he won the Masters. I looked this up. It was pretty crazy. So if he brings the putter, I'm with you, Snyder. He's the guy to beat. He really is. I think the easy cut up here is Wyndham Clark. If Wyndham Clark beats me, I think you all agree with that as well. It's a pricing thing. I mean, if we're not playing like Brooks Koepka last year when he was like 7,600 or whatever it is, like I just couldn't imagine playing Wyndham Clark. I know he's going to be low owned. If you're the ultimate contrarian and you just love leverage, play him. Wyndham Clark, obviously a very, very talented guy. I can't get there. Rahm is going to be the other guy that's most likely out for me. I was on him last year. He was actually, I think he was much lower owned last year when he won. He was one of the stands that I took. He was my highest owned guy, but I still lost money that week because it was like my next 3 highest owned guys all sucked. I think 2 of them missed the cut. And so it doesn't matter if you get the winner, if you get everything else wrong. I know that for a fact. But Rahm, I'm just going to be off of. And it's, he made that decision. It's tough for me to pay a premium for him right now. Now, he could absolutely own me. He could go back to back for sure. But I gotta pay up for Scotty over him for sure. And then I want at least one other guy. And that other guy for me is Rory. I like everything that I'm seeing about Rory right now. I think it's a little bit there's still a lot of pressure on him, but I feel like he's coming in. His game looks dialed. You got the zigzag theory. What I mean by that is, T5 miscut, and then a second in 2022. Obviously, he had that Sunday that was insane. I think 8 under on that final round, absolutely insane. And then he missed the cut last year. Obviously, was under a lot of pressure, but there's just things in his game that you see right now that looks really good. One, the driver's always on point. This year, especially, it seems like his driver has been even better than in years past. And I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but it seems like he's hitting it just a little bit further, and he's absolutely placing it wherever he wants, which is just been absolutely the weapon for him always. The thing, though, that's different is his approach game has been dialed. That's what he's been struggling with. But over the last 2 events, starting at the Players, his irons have been significantly better, and the putter has been good too. So I think Rory is in the mix. I think Scheffler's in the mix. I feel very confident about those 2 guys. And the thing is, then you got Brooks Koepka. So for me, it's easy. Wyndham Clark out. John Rahm, tough to fade, but I got to fade him. I love Scotty, and then there's Rory, and then it's Brooks Koepka. And it's like, this guy, I can't fade him. I mean, if I fade him, Snyder's just going to be laughing, texting me on Sunday like you're a donkey. And, BK is going to be there right at the end. So I got to run some stuff. I got to see if I can play all 3. I have my numbers that I want to hit because I want my lineups anchored with one of these guys. So I'm kind of thinking that I can hit the numbers that I want while getting all 3 in, but I'm going to have to be under on someone, and my lean right now is Koepka, so that leaves me with a Scheffler.
Brooks is only going to be like 10 to 13% owned, so it won't take too much to get overweight on him if he remains in that 10 to 13% range.
Right. But, here's the other thing that I'm going to be doing. So, Snyder, you release your soldiers, and then now you introduced your generals. And it's almost like NASCAR for me, where when you think about your dominators and you get these races where it's like you have to have at least 1 or 2 dominators, I'm definitely creating a rule where I have at least one of these guys in my lineup, and that's Scotty, Rory, and then likely Brooks Koepka. So I'm definitely creating a group rule over there in SaberSim, and including that, I want one of these studs in all of my lineups. I don't want any of my lineups to be fully balanced. So that's going to be a hard rule that I have this week, and if the balance build beats me, it beats me. But I just feel like this week it's going to be a very popular route, especially when we get to this balanced tier. So I'm going to take a hard stand on that. Let's keep it going, though. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Helps us out a lot over here at Run Pure Sports. We've got the 9K range.
AP, before you go on, anything with the baby narrative with Scotty?
I don't know.
He's got an early tee time with Scheffler, Rory, and Xander.
Due date's in a month. I think he just said
it would be nice.
Fine. I thought it was. I thought it was like 2 weeks away.
No, I think it's Sammy Burns. That's any week now. But Scotty's fine. I mean,
they're not leaving. They said they would leave.
Uncle T, wouldn't you say that if you got interviewed on television, your wife was listening, you would say, I would W. And you
knowing me, Drew, I probably would. I'd probably say, you're out. I'll be there when I get there.
That's why you got a chipped tooth.
So the one thing that I know for a fact is if it was number 2, if it was the second kid, no one's missing. I mean, that's, any of us has kids. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But my wife was trying to kick me out of it.
You just say it and you don't eat like Sunday. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get the note. I just think you say it. You just say it out loud, and it's on the record. You're going to be there for your wife, and you move on.
Yeah, we were.
It's in like a month. Speaking of that, sure, it's in like a month. I don't think there's any risk of Scotty.
No, even if they did, I think they wouldn't tell him anyway. To be honest.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
his first kid. They're going to tell him.
I don't know.
Oh, Uncle T. All right, Uncle T. Keep it with you. 9K range. We got Hideki playing really good golf right now, all the way up to Xander Schauffele, who obviously course horse here, hasn't yet put it together, but man, he profiles really well. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, I like this range quite a bit, but just a couple guys though.
Talk for a little bit too, because I do have to. So it's my son's birthday today, but still doing the show. We're doing his cake right now, so. Take a little bit of time, Uncle T. If I don't get back in time, go to Drew.
we can cover you, AP. We it's not our first rodeo on here. But no, the 9K range, starting at the top with Xander, it could be his time. It definitely could be his time. I'm not sure. I'm going to have an outright on him. I'm going to have an outright on Matsuyama. I think easily one of those 2 guys can win. Matsuyama's obviously won it before. In 2021, but up top was Xander, 3 top 5s in his last 5 starts overall on tour. And then he's got 4 top 17s here, his last 5 trips. So I mean, he seems like he's the safest up here in this 9K range to make the cut and maybe finish T5 or T10. The one drawback is he hasn't won in quite a while. It's been, I think it was the Scottish Open in 2022 was his last win. I might be wrong on that. But I definitely like Xander here. So he'll be probably the highest owned guy, and deservedly so. Going down, Joaquin Niemann feels like he's a little overpriced. Obviously, he's a live guy. I like him. He's been really just tearing it up on the live tour. Hasn't played majors overly well so far, but he did finish T16 here last year, which was his highest major finish. But again, he feels a little overpriced at 9,600 for sure, from what we remember seeing him at when he was, on the week by week, regular tour. But I still think you got to kind of find a little room for him here because one, he's been playing really good golf, and he's going to be a little bit lower owned. Probably going to get a couple of these guys in this range, sub 10%. A couple guys I'm going to fade, Hovland and Cantlay. Going to fade both of those guys. I just really don't check a whole lot of boxes coming in. I mean, not in very good form. Hit and miss here at this course. They're both 40-1 to win the golf tournament. I'm just going to go down below a little bit. Spieth's the guy that's interesting because I had him not necessarily as a core play at all this week coming in, but I know he did tweak that wrist last week. I need to find out more about that, though, because clearly he's going to play. He's going to be fine, but he did tweak that wrist a little bit last week. I think it was in the first round. I'm not putting a ton of stock in that, don't get me wrong, but he's clearly been really good here in the past. I'm going to have him in my pool. Zalatoris is a guy I like quite a bit here. Feels like it's a course that he's going to, as long as he can stay healthy, obviously very young, I think he's going to play well here every year. I really do. I think his game really kind of sets up pretty well here. Finished runner-up to Hideki in 2021, so I've got some interest in Zalatoris. Ludwig, Drew, I know you like him. I like him. Similar kind of bucket with Wyndham Clark. I'm not going to kind of group them in kind of together just because they haven't played here and just easily fade. But I like guys above him. Like I said, I like Zalatoris above him, and I really like Hideki at the even 9K flat range. Hideki could easily be a two-time winner here come Sunday. I mean, he's coming in with good form. He's been on an absolute heater, won here in 2021, obviously, and he's 20-1 to win the golf tournament at 9K. So I know I probably put more stock in the Vegas odds when I'm building and kind of going through these tiers, but that's just the way I do it. He will be higher owned. I think Scheffler or Xander and Hideki will be the two highest owned guys in this group. So for me, Xander, Hideki, and Zalatoris, and I'll probably have Spieth in the pool, but I'm not real high on Spieth this week.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, ask my son. He's got Jordan Spieth winning, so he's on your boy there, Uncle T. He likes Mr. Jordan. I
should have worn my Spieth shirt tonight. I didn't want Big T to make fun of me tomorrow when he goes back and watches the show.
Yeah, well, it's so funny. I got his birthday present. I got him new golf clubs, and he was kind of like, "Oh, thanks." He feels golf is more a chore. He just would rather have new video games, and all of that stuff. So. It is what it is. Great breakdown, Uncle T. I was still listening. I assure you that. Drew, let's get over to you. 9K range. Obviously, a lot of guys to pick here in this range. I mean, the chalk, though, I agree with Uncle T. Xander and then Hideki for sure. What are you doing with these guys? And especially in that $10 milli maker, how are you handling the chalk in this range?
Yeah, they're obviously coming into with pretty good form and obviously coming back to a course they've played well at. So Xander's a bit rich on the price. That's probably where I would draw the line for fading him. And Matsuyama's tough at 9K for him, coming in really good form. Obviously has played, honestly, he's played very consistent here with a win. And then he's got a couple top 5 or a couple top 10s way back when, but he's pretty mediocre. So, I might dig into Hideki a little bit more, but right now I have 5 guys in this range that I want to play. There's some easy fades. I think Victor Hovland and Cantlay are easy fades for me. Just not coming in with good form. They've been hit or miss here, anyways. Niemann's the one live guy in this range that I do want to play. He had a really good finish here a couple years ago, and he's playing very good golf. I mean, they were trying to make the argument he's one of the best players. I mean, probably top 3 player in the world about a month ago. And honestly, it looked like it. He was really golfing his ball. So I think Niemann's probably my lean here over Xander, to be honest. And then at the bottom, I'm going to play Ludwig Ober for sure at 9,100. And then Spieth, I'm the same way with Uncle T. Like Spieth should be in your player pool. I think he's been playing bad. Last week was a nice, sign of hopefully things to come. 9,300 is too cheap. I think you have to have some Spieth this week, and he's not going to be overly owned. Got him in the low teens. So it's honestly a tough range to fade the chalk because they look good. But I think you got to pick one of those guys and then trim it, to either Ober or Spieth. Zalatoris, I'm indifferent on. I'm probably not going to play any Zalatoris, but yeah, Oberg and Niemann are my favorites in this range.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we the way to get different, especially in that $10 Millie Maker, is just take from what we've learned in the past with these live guys. Just like people aren't as tuned in to them and what's going on over there, and especially Joaquin Niemann. Like, and when you look at his price, 9,600. My first reaction was, wow, like that's a big price tag for him in this range. I'm going to skip over it. Because my first impression was I'd rather play, Xander, or I'd rather go down to Jordan Spieth or Ludwig. But then when you look at it and you look at what Niemann's been doing and how he fits on this course, he's gotten better every single time that he's played. I mean, I don't think he's going to get a lot of ownership. And so that right there is a great way to get different in this range, just getting over on Niemann. But Snyder, let's get up to you. What are you doing with the guys in this range? Anyone that you're taking a stand on? Are you underweight? Who do you like in this range?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little different than you guys. I'm only going to play 5 guys total from 9K and up. I'm going to take my stands there. I got the 2 guys up in the 10K range. And then I'm just going to anchor my teams to 3 guys in this 9K range. And the one thing that really stuck out to me about Xander this week is just looking at the matchup markets. Xander's -110 against Xander and Rahm. So, and he's getting a lot of steam in the outright markets too.
Who?
Xander.
He's -110 against himself. Is that what you said?
Xander's -110 against Rory and -110 against Rahm.
Okay. I like it.
He's got even odds.
I mean, that's impressive.
Rory, basically.
Yeah.
Xander's been playing great.
Yeah, 3 of the biggest books have him even against Rory and Rahm. So that's really stuck out to me. And on Pinnacle,
Snyder.
Here, what's that?
Slide in.
He was a former Workbench Play of the Week at this event too in 2022.
He's got the same outright odds on
year.
Pinnacle as Rahm.
I took a huge stand on him too. Oh, it was a painful year. It was a very, very painful year.
Yeah. I know Xander's going to carry some ownership here, but I think he's got like very, very high T5 upside. I'm just going to get overweight on Xander. I know he's probably going to be like 20, 25% owned, but if I only play 5 guys up here and 2 of the 5 are going to be relatively lower owned, I think I can get overweight on the other 3 guys. I just think Xander's playing some of the best golf he's played in quite a while entering this form. He's got 3 top 5s in his last 4 events. He's been in contention a couple times here. I mean, he could have won this event back in 19 and 21, and then in 23 last year he was T10. I think he's been knocking on that door for a major in a while. I do always worry about Xander on Sunday with all the pressure on him. He hasn't done well with that, but I think he's like a great floor play. I think he's got tremendous top 10 upside and really good top 5 upside. He's been really good around the greens too. He's averaging just over half a stroke around the green the last 36 holes. So I'm going to be overweight on Xander. And then Bill Z. I'm going to go back to Bill Z a little bit. I think he's going to be in that same ownership range as like a BK, like 10 to 13% owned. Looks like a lot tougher click after coming off those last 2 performances there, the MC at the Players and the T74 at Houston last week. But a couple weeks ago, he was back-to-back top 5s. Looked like everyone thought he was going to win the Masters like a month ago, and then he had those 2 bad events, and then everybody's off of him there. The putter really held him back at those 2 events. So it was just horrible. I think he lost like 6 or 7 strokes putting at Houston. But now he comes to a place at Augusta where he's actually had pretty good success on the greens here. He's actually gained quite a bit on these greens. And Zalatoris can kind of flip the switch when he comes to these big time events. So we've seen him play really well at some of the biggest events on tour. Zalatoris seems to be somewhere in that top 20, top 10 on Sunday. So I'm going to be on Zalatoris. It won't take much to get overweight on him if his ownership stands where it is. And then the other guy, I've been playing Hideki the last few events. I mean, he's been right there. I mean, he won the Genesis with that strong Sunday, 6th, 7th. In those next two events, they're at the Players and then Valero. He's one of the best around the green players, too. Knows this track very well. He was 16th or better in his last 4 trips, including that win in 21. 9+ strokes gained tee to green his last 3 trips here. So really high on Hideki as well. So it's going to be Xander, Zalatoris, Hideki for me in this 9K range to pair up with Scotty and BK. And hopefully I can get those 5 guys battling it down the stretch, and then I can kind of fill in with the rest of the guys to kind of complete the team.
Yeah, I just think Hideki is like the best play in this range when you factor in price. His history here is incredible. I mean, his worst finish, miscut back in 2014, which we don't care about. Outside of that, his worst finish is T32. I mean, that's just impressive. And he's coming in form. Like, there's been so many times where he's come in to the Masters, like, with questionable form. Now he's actually playing some incredible golf, 9K. He's kind of my first click down here in this range. I know it's eating some chalk. I still am a believer that ownership spreads out. You have a lot of people that like to get shares of everyone. And so, yes, he's going to be chalk, but I'm hopeful that maybe he's not going to be as high owned as we think. So maybe low 20s, maybe high, like maybe 8. It's probably wishful thinking, 18 to 22%. But if he's in that range, I'm going to be pretty pleased because it's not hard to get overweight on him, especially if you take like a 50 to 60% stand on a guy like that. And really, like in MME formats, I just see ownership spreading out. When you look at the pricing and you start to actually make your builds, I just see it spreading out outside of a few guys. And Hideki might be one of those guys. Scotty, definitely one of those guys. They're just going to get ownership. And then Xander, too. I still think that you can take a stand and you can get overweight. So Hideki, for me, best play in this range when you factor in price, form, history. And then it's Xander. Like, I know I'm eating some chalk, but his history here outside of the year I went heavy on him is absolutely incredible. And he's playing some excellent golf right now. And this is why I'm creating that rule where I'm anchoring my builds with, Rory, Scotty, or BK. It's very easy to get sucked into this mid-tier type of build, starting with Xander, and then the Hideki route, and then mixing in some of these 8K, upper 7K guys that we're going to talk to. And so I want one of the studs in there. I'm hopeful that makes me a little bit unique as far as multi-entry goes. The fades, I'm with Drew. I think the fades are easy. Hovland, Cantlay. Maybe Hovland, owns me here. I don't think he will, but he definitely could. He has in the past. He's just been playing some bad golf. Cantlay, I mean, he's playing bad golf right now, and I never play him here. So I'm fine with that. I actually came into this under, if not fading, Will Zalatoris. Snyder, I mean, you guys have made a compelling argument. I might have to get him back into the pool, but I'm really unsure on that. Neiman, I like, and then Ludwig Oberg. I feel like he's made for this course. I know it's his first time, but look, this guy played in the Ryder Cup. He's played in some massive events already. Was awesome at the Players. He can do it on any type of golf course.
He's a machine.
And I feel like Augusta's built for this guy. Like, he's a Swedish robot built by like AI. I mean, he's an AI generated like Swedish robot built to just dominate golf. Like, this dude's going to be around for a long time, and he's just going to absolutely dominate. And I think he's going to dominate on these driver heavy courses where par 5 scoring is the emphasis, which we have this week.
I might have to let you get your $100 back. What
who do you want? All right. Oberg versus
slide in on one. I have to think about it. I love Oberg, you know that, but I don't like him.
Hideki or Xander versus him.
What's that?
I'll take Hideki or Xander.
You guys are friggin' sharp. So I'm just trying to do a show and talk about a guy who is good at golf, and immediately Uncle T's over here like slide on in, give me that hundo.
Do you like Spieth? We didn't talk about Spieth yet.
We're down at the 6K range. Austin Eckroat might be. Oh yeah, I'll take Xander or Austin Eckroat, $100.
Come on, Jared. Don't give him any more motivation.
The thing I like about Spieth though is the putter, man. He's been putting really good, and I always think of Jordan Spieth as like this guy who's just been always an incredible putter, but that's just not the case. I think when he was playing some of his best golf, he was getting it done with the putter, but he's kind of gone through these phases where it's either like the ball striking is getting it done, or it's like he's doing it with, being a wizard on and around the greens, and you're starting to see it. The Valero after that ace, like he looked pretty good. But the putter, he's been gaining a lot of strokes putting. I like that coming into this event. You obviously have more forgiving fairways. So, and it's Jordan Spieth at Augusta. He
doesn't need any form coming into Augusta, really.
I mean, he should be 20%, and he's low teens. I mean, it's kind of.
And this is what makes for me like Cantlay and Hovland like the easy fades. Like I just like think about all the other guys that we talked about. You can make a very compelling case for Xander, for Hideki, obviously, Ludwig, and then Jordan Spieth as well. And that's why Will Zalatoris, I know that when he played here, in the first time he played here, he got second, which you never see. You never see that here at Augusta. It's impressive. It really is. I just have concerns because we just haven't seen a lot of them yet. And so it really comes down to ownership.
Yeah, AP, he hasn't putted real well either. I know Alex had a question in chat earlier. I was going to try to get to it. He hasn't putted great overall, but like Snyder said there, and I was getting ready to say that, he seems to like these greens, though. So I'm going to give him a little bit of pass, at least on my rankings this week, and play him, thinking that he's going to go back to a spot where he's played really well, putted well on these greens before. And again, I'm going a lot on his history this week like you guys are. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on his lower putting grade here the last, couple months. So.
Yeah. And I don't usually like care about putting that much here. Hideki's one. I mean, there's a lot of guys that it's more the short game. I mean, Sung J M has done very well here. And that's when his short game was really dialed in. So the experience short game, forgiveness off the tee, and par 5 scoring is really what I'm looking for. But I'm with you. And again, it's like that's what makes Hovland and Cantlay easy fades. And then it's like, man, you can make a case for about everyone else in this range. And we can't play everyone, but there's obviously a lot of good options. Uncle T, I'm going to keep it with you. Let's keep this going. 8K range, a lot of other good options here, which is why I think the mid-tier, balanced build has to be extremely popular. So if you're running 150, if you just create a rule that anchors with the Scotty, BK, one of these studs on top, I just feel like you're gaining something as far as like unique builds go, because it just seems like there has to be a lot of balanced builds out there. But what are you doing, Uncle T, with the 8K range?
Yeah, I'm not as I like some guys in this range, but I don't have really a hard stand on most of these guys. I got to kind of figure it out between now and Thursday morning. Cam Smith, not sure where I stand on him, to be honest with you. He does have 3 top 5s or 3 top 10s here the last 4 trips, but coming in decent form, I guess, if you will. I don't know. He had a T2 a couple weeks ago on one of the live events. I'm probably out on Cam Smith right now, unless one of you guys kind of sell me the other way. Dustin Johnson is similar to Spieth and even Justin Thomas, who I'm going to fade this week. Justin Thomas, I'll get that out of there. Had the split with Bones, got a new guy on the bag. I think this guy worked with Cantlay previously, so I'm sure this guy's pretty good caddy. I'm going to fade Justin Thomas, but I'm going to have some interest in Dustin Johnson. I know that might not be a popular take here. Maybe he should come in at pretty low ownership, but I've got a Dustin Johnson problem a little bit. I haven't seen him in a while. I like him, so I'll probably have some DJ. He feels a little bit.
There's our bet. We got to do it because I think both guys suck right now. Between DJ versus Justin Thomas.
Oh,
you said you like DJ, right?
I'll take DJ. Okay, I'll take DJ.
And I'm not saying I like Justin Thomas, but I feel like he should be able to beat
That's
DJ.
Fine. One side, pay me, and I'll give you guys the winnings. Minus
Yeah,
110.
wait. Is the matchup? I feel like the matchups had to be really close. I've not looked at the matchup.
Yeah.
Snyder, can you put that on our whiteboard and make sure we get that so I don't forget?
I'm just saying this is what the Red Kachik book was taking, minus 110.
There you go.
Minus 110
for both of you, and then I'll pay you $100.
Same as last week, AP, $50.
And then miscut, yeah.
All right, I got DJ over JT, but moving down so we can move this along a little bit. I got a little bit. I was not on him previous to this afternoon, but looking at Tony Finau, I might kind of sprinkle Tony in my pool here. I wasn't sure 100% what to do with him, but he's in enough form right now where I think I can go back to him. He's had a little bit of success here. 8,600 is a pretty fair price tag, so I'll have him in the pool. But now I get to a couple guys that I really like, and I don't know that I've played this guy too much at all, especially this year. But Cam Young kind of rates out pretty good for me here. And again, I'll be anxious to see what you guys think, but I like him quite a bit. He's rested since his T2 at the Valspar. His driver is generally his biggest weapon. And again, you can bomb it really here. It's really forgiving fairways. So I like his driver as a weapon here. If he can get hot with the putter one week, which has been letting him down a little bit, I think Cam Young is a sneaky pick to be live on Sunday. And again, I don't play a lot of him, so I'm a little leery about kind of playing him here, but he does rate out well for me. Morikawa, Homa, I just need to see some form. Snyder's boy Morikawa is just lost out there right now. And the weird part about that is his irons have been pretty bad too. So I'm out on Morikawa. Homa and Burns, they just haven't played majors well. And I've been fading them, and clearly they haven't burnt me. And I'm just going to continue to fade both Homa and Burns until they can show me some form in some of these big tournaments. Bryson is just too cheap, and I don't mind playing quite a bit of him here. 8,200. I know he missed the cut the last couple times here and hasn't had that big of success or much success around this track, but he's been playing really, really good golf. So I like Bryson quite a bit at 8,200, and I also like Big Shane Lowry down here at 8K. I feel like he's a couple $100 too cheap. 2 top 5 finishes during the Florida swing. Excellent tee to green game. And again, he's been playing pretty well here recently. So not as high on the top end of this range. I do like Cam Young quite a bit at 8,500. And then I've got Bryson and Lowry at 2 and 3. And I do have Finau in my pool, but Young, DeChambeau, and Lowry are my top 3 guys here.
So one thing I've heard a lot of, just kind of from a few different podcasts, and people have historically said, like, you want guys with good form coming into Augusta. I'm gonna say that's not necessarily true, specifically for the Bombers. And Cam Young is a great case. Just look at last year. He didn't have a top 10 in forever coming into a T10 or T10 at the API. Outside of that, like, his results were average. His putter was terrible around the green. And then he comes to the Masters and, gets 7th. Cameron Champ, not in it this year, but another example, his form is always terrible and never does well. His results at the Masters are awesome. So, like, that's why I like the Cam Young take. And that's why I've been so surprised by Bryson and with how bad Bryson has been here, because no one bombs it like him. And he's been absolutely horrendous here. And so I think that
he's back down to normal size. He's just
he's Snyder size. I saw that picture.
He's Snyder size. He hasn't been juicing. So
all the juice.
But I do agree with you there on a few of those takes. Uncle T, Drew, let's go over to you. 8K range. What are you doing down here?
Yeah, this range was pretty straightforward for me. There's only one live guy, and it'll be Bryson, same as Uncle T. I'm actually probably pretty similar to Uncle T's takes here. But yeah, Bryson's the guy, and he's obviously cheaper. And I think he's definitely played better than Cameron Smith and Dustin Johnson so far this live season. And then kind of in the mid range, I'm not gonna play Justin Thomas. I don't hate it, but I want to go elsewhere. Tony Finau and Cameron Young, I like a lot. I do like Tony Finau coming back here. I think he's in some of the best form of the 9K and the 8K range. And then Cameron Young, same points as Big or Uncle T. Sorry, Uncle T. Yeah, Cam Young at 8,500. Again, they're good price points, and I think they're playing really good golf. I mean, I think they're playing better tee to green right now than some of the 9K guys, and certainly everyone else in the 7K and down. And then Shane Lowry at 8K. I do think he's rounding into form. he's had mediocre results here. He's got a top 3 2 years ago, 16th last year. So he's been fairly consistent. And I think his form now is actually better than it has been the last 2 years after winning the British Open. So those are 4 guys in the 8K range I like quite a bit. I do, like, similar to the 9K range. I think Morikawa, Homa, and Sam Burns are easy fades, to be honest. I mean, Burns is maybe a fringe play you could keep in the pool if you're playing 150, but like Morikawa and Homa just seem like easy outs, in my opinion, at least. And what sucks is like the ownership looks really close right now. Like if you sorted like highest ownership and just click, you're going to build a pretty good lineup. The guys that I hate are all lower owned anyway. So like, I'm not even feeling like I'm gaining much, but yeah, Morikawa, Max Homa are going to be some of the lowest owned in this range. And they're just easy outs. And I think you don't have to overthink it.
Yeah, very good. I'm probably going to be on an island with one of the. I'll try to make a case. It's what I got to do.
We can share equity if you're going to go JT.
I mean, let me make my case. Let me make my case, and you guys can all make fun of me, and that's fine. That's fine.
Might be able to find another bet in here with AP. Let's go.
You absolutely might. I might need some odds though if we do. Snyder, what are you doing with the 8K range? What are you doing with your live guys in this range, especially Bryson? You've been a Bryson hater for a long time. He's a little bit smaller now. Maybe you like him. And look, like you got Colin Morikawa and Bryson right there, 8,200, 8,400. Morikawa coming in, terrible form. Bryson coming in, good form. What are you doing with these guys down here?
Yeah, I think the reason you look at Bryson's recent form here is what MC 46, 34th, 29th. So the last 5 years, his best finish is a 29th. I kind of feel like a lot of that has to do with all the undulated lies where he's hitting above his feet, below his feet. He's got his pitching wedge the same length as his 4-iron. I think there's a little correlation into that. I mean, Drew might know more about that, but
Snyder, you're just reading chat. That's what our guy Alex Hahn just said.
Is he in there?
You're plagiarizing off of chat. Come on, Snyder.
I've been saying that for years.
I know. I'm just giving you crap.
But yeah,
this was a good comment by Alex, though.
Yeah,
I disagree with that. I mean, these dudes are professional. Yeah. Like, I don't like. I mean, Drew, you'd be the most qualified to comment on that, but he's a professional. Like, he knows how to adjust for like a lie that's uneven.
I don't know how the same length irons would cause an issue. No, I mean. No, it's only his irons. Like his wedges are normal sized. I don't see it. I don't think that's an issue. I think there's other issues that went on, but certainly not because the irons are the same length. I mean, that'd be like, he can hit this shot because it's a pitching wedge, but not a 5-iron. Doesn't make sense.
He kept calling it a par 67, and I feel like he was trying to like prove something, and he doesn't need to. He can come and play conservative golf and do very well here.
He's not trying to hit 370 anymore. Like he's kind of toned it down a little bit.
He's going to tear up these par 5s this week. I got a feeling.
Yeah, he could. If Bryson wins this event, I will not be winning any giblets this week. But I really don't like many guys in this 8K range either. And the way I'm probably going to have to build fit in all those the 5 studs in is I think I'm going to have to leave a lot of these guys out in the 8K range. And I actually like some of the guys in the 7K range over these 8K range guys. But the one guy that does stick out to me is at the bottom of this range too, so it'll be easier to fit him in there, is Shane Lowry. You look at his course form. I mean, he's one of the course horses here. He's never won the event. He was close a couple years ago where he finished 3rd in 22. But he's finished inside the top 25 in his last 4 trips here. He's coming in pretty good recent form there. He was top 20 at the Players, 3rd at the API, T4 at the Cognizant, and Ben is his preferred service to putt on. So Lowry kind of sticks out to me. I think Cam Smith is a guy I would look at. I don't think he's going to be that owned either. Like Cam Smith will probably be 8 to 13%, somewhere around there, 8 to 11%, something like that. So it won't take much to get overweight on him. I just love the upside of Cam Smith. He was close a couple weeks ago on Live, like Uncle T said. He lost in that playoff a couple weeks ago in that Live event. Finau, I just never really play Finau. I think he's going to be pretty highly owned, so that'll be one of the guys I just need to fade. Him. It looks like Finau and Cameron Young will be in that 15 to 18% range, so I'm playing enough stock the way it is, so I'll probably be out on those two. Probably
Would you
just
say Young
Lowry.
would be on? Would you say Young would be on?
I'm seeing
18?
15, 18% for both.
I'll take
of
the
them.
under on 18%. 18 for Cam Young?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm seeing I aggregated some aggregated some ownerships, and aggregation came to 16%.
That would shock me if he got that high. What do you got, Drew?
You guys can fight over that in Discord.
I don't really care. I mean, I just aggregated it, and it came to 16%.
So real quick though, on the Cameron Smith stuff, the tournament that he played well at, he didn't have to hit a driver. That was at Hong Kong. Like his driver has been terrible back. Like again, terrible.
Yeah,
I just
I'll
don't
probably be on
see
him then.
the Cameron Smith play.
Yeah, I'll probably just play Lowry in this range and then load up on these 7K guys to fill out.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I mean, Hong Kong was like 6,500 yards. They didn't hit a single driver, and like, now you take driver out of his hand. It's great.
Yeah.
Drew, like that's one of the reasons why I like him here specifically at Augusta, though. Much more forgiving fairways. I feel like Cam Young is like built for this track. Like I feel like he's going to be a Masters champion at some point in time, eventually, as long as he keeps playing competitively. The price tag for me, like I really like him in this range. So, like,
Cameron
and I don't watch
Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith. Are you you're talking about Cam? Are you talking Cam Young or Cam
No.
Smith? I'm talking Cam Smith.
Yeah. I'm saying I don't like Cam Smith.
Yeah, and I'm saying I like him.
Yeah.
Because the more forgiving fairways.
And I don't think they're more forgiving. I think you have more shots out of the trees. But like if you're driving it poorly, you're not going to score.
I got you.
I mean, you're going to struggle. His scrambling is good to keep him in it, and we kind of saw that when he finished second to Scheffler a couple years ago. But I still think driver is a predominant weapon here. I mean, you have to bring it. So that's again just pointing it out that the one event he played well so far this year was the only event you didn't have to hit a driver. You're going to have to hit drivers around here. Like the holes have gotten longer. I mean, you have to drive it well. There's no forgiving fairways in terms of like driving it offline and shorter because it's going to be both. So, yeah, I just don't see.
Good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like Cameron Smith, but I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah. So this range for me, I actually have more interest in Tony Finau. Obviously, the elephant in the room. We'll get to that. But Tony Finau, I like what I saw last week, and this guy always suckers me in, just like the other guy I'm going to talk about. But 8,600, if he's going to be like chalk, I could move off. But like if I'm comparing him to Cam Young, I think I would side the Finau side. I think both are fine. Both are good plays. Bryson, I'm with you guys on him. I think Max Homa is somewhat interesting. I kind of like that he's playing with Tiger. Sometimes we've seen like these guys kind of thrive off of the crowds are going to be around. And, Max Homa's a, multiple time winner now on tour. Like he can handle a big crowd. He's not going to be fazed by playing with Tiger Woods. I think it's going to make him play better. If anything, he hasn't had the best success here, but I like what I'm seeing lately from him. And he's not a guy I've played a ton either. I just feel like he should be better at this course. And we're going to see it eventually. And I feel like no one's going to play him or he's going to be very low owned. I don't have a good read on ownership though. Snyder, do you have him at, I was thinking like 6 to 7% for Max Homa.
Oh, Max Homa.
9, right around there.
Yeah, it's like right around 7 to 10%.
Gotcha.
Yeah, at the lower side, 7% is where you're at AP.
Yeah, and Shane Lowry with you guys on him as well. Good play. I'm not playing Burns, Morikawa. I mean, you get to these majors, like I don't know, like I mean, this track, like I feel like it should be a track that Colin Morikawa plays really well at. He has good history here too. But Snyder, if you're not even playing him, I mean, I don't even know how I can play him. No, I know that, but the price is intriguing. I always fall into these traps down here.
Snyder always bakes in 10% just because he likes them.
Our guy Bogarts in the NBA chat calls these guys the underpriced, value thoughts is what he calls them. And Morikawa, he's getting into that range.
Morikawa wins this week. Uncle T's not winning a dime.
So I mean, we do need to talk about Justin Thomas. Obviously, my pockets are a lot less heavy than what they used to be. Just playing this guy way too many times. The price tag is coming way down. I think they're is a case in multi-entry formats because his ownership is like what, 5%? I'm showing it plummeting. Like no one's playing this guy. Obviously, new caddy, which I like. I think is a good move for him. But look at like what he's doing. So bad putters can win here. Justin Thomas, one of the worst putters out there. I think you throw away that last event that he was in. I mean, the dude, like he lost like 7 strokes putting or something. I mean, it was absolutely horrendous. Tee to green, he's been held up by his approach game, and he's always been good around the green. So if he can hit these fairways here, which I think he should be able to hit, lean on the irons, lean on the around the green game, make a couple putts. His history here is really good. He plays, the practice rounds with Tiger, and he gets all the information. Like he should be doing well this week. And every time he tees it up here, he has one miscut. It was last year. Outside of that, his history here is pretty freaking good. So yeah, I'm going to be playing Justin Thomas. I don't think it's going to take a lot to get overweight on him. I don't think you go all in on a guy like that unless you want to be, watching everyone else from the sidelines, on the weekend. But to get 15, 20%, I think that's going to be enough to get you overweight the field. That's going to be my approach on JT. Not a core play this week, but I feel like he's going to be easy to get, 3 to 4x the field on. So do you guys have a take on that, or are you just full fading a guy like him?
I'm a JT guy with you, AP, and I'm full fading. I can't do it. I love JT.
If you knew he was going to be 3% owned in the Millie Maker.
If you didn't play him, he'd be 2%.
I mean, I don't have the ability to. You know how many lineups there are in that? I'm just saying, from a pure leverage standpoint, I don't get the fade at that standpoint with his history here. But that's the only case for me. I don't want to talk too many people into going down that painful road.
Like 6 lineups and 150 in the Millie. I mean, even 100 lineups, you're at 5.
JT does suck. PD plays. He definitely does suck. I agree with that. But it's more. I like the fact that he ditched the caddy. It just takes even more people off of him. I don't think that matters that much. He has enough history here. He knows how to play this course. It just comes down to dealing with the mental stuff. So we'll see. Maybe he gets a good pep talk from Tiger when they do the practice round or whatever. But worst case will be a tax deduction for me. We'll move on. Let's get to the 7K range. Uncle T, back over to you.
Yeah, a lot of guys in this range, but maybe 15 to 18 guys in the 7K range this week. And I think there's some misprices for sure. If we had the pricing come out later like it normally does and not sitting out there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I do think a couple of these guys in this range would definitely be in the 8K range. Fitzpatrick, I think, is way underpriced relative to, 1, the golfer he is, and 2, he's coming in pretty hot. He was T10 here last year, and then coming in off a T5 and then a T10 the last couple of weeks. So Fitzpatrick's going to be a guy that will carry some ownership. But one thing we haven't talked about, and I'll just briefly go into it, though, I don't mind playing 2 or 3 higher-end guys at all, maybe even 4, because we can always get different on that 5th and 6th guy to round out our team. And I've been trying to eat a little bit more chalk in golf, and it's been working. So, and I say that just because you do have to get different in other places, but I've been doing it and it's been working. I always try to figure out a way not to play as much chalk, and it feels like it was burning me. So I've been kind of going back to where I used to be with that. So anyway, I like Fitzpatrick quite a bit here at the top. A guy that I'm indifferent on and maybe even going to fade that I think is going to maybe be kind of popular is Brian Harman. I don't know, maybe not. Coming off a couple of miscuts here, I don't have really as much interest in Brian Harman. Thigala is another guy that, again, is underpriced. He would be $300, $400, $500 more expensive in the low 8Ks if pricing came out. Been playing some really good golf. T9 here last year. I believe it was his only trip. So like him quite a bit. Going to fade Jason Day. Going to fade Hatton. Going to fade Sung Jae. And then you get to a couple guys here in the mid-7s that I like. Fleetwood, Connors, and Reed. And all course history guys. All guys that are coming in pretty good form. So I think out of those 3, maybe Reed comes in the lowest owned. I think Connors is going to get a lot of love here, and rightfully so. 7,500 is pretty cheap. I'm going to fade Fowler. I'm going to fade Tom Kim. Minwoo Lee has a little bit of an injury with his finger from what I'm seeing. I think he's okay, but I didn't necessarily like seeing that because I liked him quite a bit here, so I'll have to kind of double check on him. Akshay, our boy Akshay Bhatia, might come right back with him. 7,200 feels pretty cheap for Akshay. Get added to the field after his win last week. Siwoo Kim, I think, is one of my favorite value plays down here. I don't think he's going to be too high owned unless he gets steamed up. 55-1 to win the golf tournament on DK, and rates out to be one of my favorite cheapies down here. So really high on Siwoo Kim. I'm indifferent on Henley, Rose, and Scott. I think they're all kind of safe plays to maybe make the cut. I don't know. I mean, if you want like a 25th or a 30th place finish, guys like, I know Henley was T4 here last year, but he's generally not a guy that will contend in the larger field. So Henley, Rose, and Scott I'm okay with. But and then the bottom I don't like at all. Jaeger, English, Taylor, Phil, I'm going to fade all of those guys. So really just some interest towards the top with Tagala, Fitzpatrick, and then that mid 7K range for me. And I'll move it along.
I like that comment from our guy Scott. No, I'm with you on Tagala. I mean, this feels like a great track for him. Just
don't
his game.
To the show. Scott's giving me a hard time. I can get different plenty cases.
Yeah, just play Justin Thomas with me. Drew, 7K range. What are you doing in this range?
Yeah, this range is pretty easy. And real quick, I'll talk through the ownership from the Millie Maker lineup. So it's 2 over 20%. This is for Uncle T, so you can build the perfect lineup. 2 over 20%, and then the rest of them, the other 4 were all under 15%, 2 under 10%. So I mean,
there you go.
Pretty simple.
Where'd you have Siwoo real quick before you go on to yours?
For ownership here?
Yeah.
15%.
Oh, you do have him 15. Okay. He's a little higher than I thought. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be off Fitzpatrick. He does look like he's getting steamed up. I honestly don't think, for me, I don't think he's playing that well. He's made the cut here pretty much every year. That's, relevant to this week. But no Fitzpatrick for me. The guys that I'm focusing on are Sahith Theegala, the same thing that Uncle T said. Tommy Fleetwood and Corey Connors. Corey Connors, I think, is kind of the nuts play at 7,500 for him, and he's still not even approaching 20%. At least I don't have him approaching 20% for this week. Russell Henley, guy's just so good with his irons. He's a very good putter when he gets hot, and he's played well here. Every single year he's teed it up, so I don't think you can overlook Russell Henley. But Tia coming back after a win. I mean, the dude was playing great. Like, honestly, he obviously got into this event because he won last week. But even going into last week, I mean, you would have played him anywhere he was playing, this week if it was any other event. So I don't see any reason to ignore Batia. And obviously, we'll talk about McCarthy here in a second. And then Siwoo Kim down here at 7,100, I still think is a really good play. Been playing very consistent tee to green all season, just not getting anything done on the greens. So those are my guys. I mean, it's really 6 guys in this range that I'll just camp out on. Again, I think there's some really easy fades in this range as well. It's kind of fitting nicely.
Did either of you guys talk about Sunjam yet?
No.
I didn't know he was in the field.
I mean, his history here is incredible, and he's going to be 2% off. I mean, for me, like in the Millie Maker and the $10, I sprinkling these guys in that are just going to be absolutely unowned is kind of my path to what I hope is being different. And it's leaning on guys like him that have the history. I mean, he's been playing terrible, but I think he had one other time when he finished inside the top 10, he had pretty poor form coming in. So definitely something to look in deeper. But Snyder, what are you doing with the 7K range?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little different than Drew, just mainly with like Fitzpatrick. I'm just looking at like the betting odds in Vegas is pointing me in Fitzpatrick's direction. He's got better win odds than Zalatoris, Finau, Morikawa, Cantlay, Theegala, Lowry, and Wyndham. I think he should be priced in that mid 8K range. I mean, you look at his course history here too. He's bettered his finish in the last 4 trips here. 46th, 34th, 14th, and 10th last year. Enters off a top 10 last week with a strong Sunday round there, and he was 5th at the Players. I just feel like he was like the odd man left out in that 8K range. I know he's going to see some ownership. I think it'll be kind of spread out between him, Lowry, Siwoo, a few other guys in this range. So, Fitzpatrick's a pretty big favorite over Fleetwood and Lowry in the matchup market.
Real quick. So, Drew, back to you real quick. Does it change anything knowing that once he got rid of the weights or whatever that were in his irons or driver or whatever, he started playing better? Does that factor in at all?
It does a little bit. It does a little bit, but he's still going to be the highest owned in this range.
Yeah,
it does matter. I mean, obviously, you saw a flip immediately, and he played good immediately after that. The next two events, but
he might be the worst price guy on the slate.
Lower owned.
Him and Hideki, man.
And Connors, though.
You can bet like
the highest.
Yeah, Snyder. Keep going though.
Yeah, but
unless you're done with
Gala is a great option. I think a lot of people are going to go there. Like everything points to him. Strong ball striker. He was T9 or top 9 in his first trip here to Augusta. Everything points to him. I think he's going to be the highest owned in the 7K range, probably around maybe approaching 25% maybe, but strong, very strong option. Connors, another strong option. I think Patrick Reed is the guy I really like down here, and I hope he doesn't get steamed up. I think he's going to be around 10% or under. We'll see how that goes into tomorrow and such, but his game's actually been kind of trending up at Live. A couple of solid finishes there, and you look at what he's done here at Augusta. He's always been strong here at Augusta. He's made his last 6 cuts here, top 10 in 3 of the last 4 trips here. He won the event back in 2019. And he's just got that great short game around the green and everything. And I think he knows his course about as good as about anybody. So I like Patrick Reed quite a bit. And then Russell Henley, I think he's underpriced too. I mean, 7-2 for Henley. Such a pretty safe guy, I think, down here. He's just been a consistent golfer. He's been playing consistent golf since like back in September even. He was 4th last week at the Valero, T4 at the API, 4 straight events. Gaining strokes putting for him too, which is big for him. And he's made the cut here in his last 3 trips. T4 last year, 30th, and then T15 for his last 3 trips here at Augusta. So I think Henley is just a real solid value play. And Fitzpatrick's probably one of my favorite plays. Actually, not my favorite play on the slate because a couple other guys are up there, but I think just looking at the odds and such on Fitzpatrick, I think he's really underpriced. But I think there's a ton of good options in this range. There's so many guys. Siwoo Kim, a lot of good options you can go in this 7K range, I think.
Yeah, I really like the bottom of this range. Like starting with Adam Scott, one of my, again, not a guy I play very often, but it's the Masters at Augusta. You can play these guys that are older, have really good history, and Adam Scott is exactly that. And I think he's actually playing pretty good golf right now. The putters come alive, and the ball striking, his swing. I mean, that hasn't changed, but it's the putter that really looks really good around the green. It looks good as well. His history here, he hasn't missed a cut in like forever. Going back to 2000, has he ever missed a cut here? I mean, it's
I don't have it back to 2004, but it's
back a long time ago, back in 2004. But again, you can play some of these guys, and Adam Scott has shown the ability to get inside the top 10 too. Did it multiple times in 2023. Did it this year at the Phoenix Open, almost at the Valero. So I like what I'm seeing in Adam Scott. Absolutely love the price. Akshay coming off the win. I don't think I want to go there. But like going back to JJ Spawn when he won and then he turned it around and he was at the Masters. I think he made the cut and I think he did okay that year. So, I mean, these guys can keep it going. It's really difficult to do off a win and just look at the range. Like Russell Henley, phenomenal history here, playing great golf. I know he's going to be popular, but I would rather play him over Akshay. I think I'd play Adam Scott over Akshay as well. Justin Rose, again, he's one of those great history here. He's an older guy. They can do well here. And he's going to be in the pool. He's a multi-entry play only for me. Again, I have him well below Russell Henley, well below Adam Scott, but he's going to be in the pool. Ricky Fowler, no way. Minwoo Lee, I don't think I can get there. Patrick Reed, absolutely love. Tom Kim, I mean, man, he is talk about bad form. I don't think we can go there.
It's your 2% play.
I know, but he's young. You're looking. He was in incredible form coming into this last year. And, T16 was awesome, but he's young. He's not even he's 20? I mean, he's definitely young. Fully in his head right now. I can't go there. Corey Connors, great play. Fleetwood, no. Thigala, I absolutely love. And again, in the Millie Maker, I don't know. I think you're crazy not to have at least a little bit of Sung Jae Im because he has really good history here, and he's played it more than once. I mean, this dude has multiple. He's played it 4 times, and 2 of those times he's well inside the top 10. So I'll have a sprinkle of Sung Jae Im, and then Thigala, and then Fitzpatrick is kind of the obvious, really strong play in this range as well. But I gotta say, my favorite play is. And I don't say this too often, but Adam Scott, 7,100, he anchors those kind of the Rory or the Scotty builds really nicely. I think he's a safe play that gives you upside this week. And I don't think ownership is that out of control on him. I think he's sub 10%?
Oh yeah, easy.
7%, something like that.
He'll finish 30th for you. He'll make the cut.
40?
You can't really get mad at Adam Scott anyways. He's too nice. Justin Thomas.
I'll take under 40. Are we for 100?
I said
you said
30.
40. You say you don't backtrack. You said 40. He'll finish 40 for you.
To be fair, so I looked it up. So Adam Scott has missed 2 cuts here since 2004. But to be fair, the cut is like 70% of the field. So,
I know.
I mean, let's not use cut as a metric here. Like 40th is like a missed cut.
Sergio's missed the cut.
More AP bucks. Settle down, will you?
All right, let's get Uncle T. Over to you, yep. 6K range. Let's finish this out.
Yeah, so the 6K range, I like Vijay Singh. He's my favorite guy. No, I'm just kidding because the guy in chat said that I'm going to play Vijay Singh.
I'd play
I'm not going to play any Vijay Singh. Sorry. But, I like, if you want to kind of go up and double spend up there and try to grab 2 of those guys, you're probably going to need to dip down in here for sure. I'll just go through a few guys that I like. Keegan Bradley, Sepp Straka, a couple good plays down in here. I may even go back to Benny On, AP, just to own you even more 1 week later. It's a little flop leg with Benny On. Not sure how I feel about him. Eric Van Rooyen, I like him. Adrian Maronk, he might be one of my sneaky guys. I was talking to Snyder earlier about Adrian Maronk. I think he could be a sneaky play down here at 6,500. Been playing really good on the Live Tour. I don't know. I think he missed the cut here last year, his first trip, but second time around, maybe he'll perform a little bit better. Taylor Moore, 6,400 feels, pretty good price tag coming in pretty good form. Austin Eckroat and Lucas Glover. I like both of those guys as well. And Denny McCarthy is going to be obviously the elephant in the room down here, 6,200. He's going to fit a lot of builds, but I might try to figure out how to be underweight or just full fade McCarthy and just hope he doesn't beat me.
Yeah, what's he gonna be? Just off of that crazy back 9 he had last.
We're showing 12%. I don't know what these guys are showing, but
10
yeah, that's insane.
I think he'll be around 10%. Yeah,
it's insane.
That is insane. I won't be playing Denny McCarthy here. I mean, this is a big boy track, and he's not a. It's like Brian Harman. Like that's a somewhat of a comp. Like if this was like an Open Championship, I might consider Denny because. You don't gotta bomb it off the tee. This is a big boy track though. So Denny for me is like one of the easier fades, especially if he's going to be chalk. But Drew, what are you doing in this range?
Yeah, again, pretty similar to Uncle T, and I'll talk about the other elephant in the room. But Adam Hadwin, not the best course history, but pretty decent form. And I just think he's a guy that can get around this golf course fairly consistently, and at 6,600. That's all I'm really looking for. Eric Van Rooyen is like the opposite. I think he has a lot of upside, but he has a lot of downside, as we've seen pretty much every time he's teed it up. He finishes in top 10 or miscut this season. So Eric Van Rooyen at 6,600 as well. The top range really doesn't do it for me. There's really no live guys in this range. Hopefully Snyder has one. But Schwartzel hasn't been great. There really isn't anybody down here. Austin Eckroat at 60. You have 2?
One guy.
Okay, good. So Austin Eckroat, 6,300. The dude is very impressive. A really good pedigree. He's playing really good right now, coming off a win a couple months ago now. So I think Eckroat is in a good position at 6,300, and then Lee Hodges, similar both to Eckroat in my opinion, Obviously doesn't have the same win this season, but he's been playing very consistent tee to green. I think Hodges is, a good option to take a stab on down here. And the elephant in the room is really just Tiger Woods. I mean, I'm going to take some stabs with Tiger. Everything I hear, and I don't know. I mean, it could just be a fish and you're just buying into the hype, which is very possible in this day and age. Everyone wants to hype up Tiger Woods is back or he's going to play really well this week. But it's also Augusta, and I want to take a chance. If I'm ever going to play Tiger Woods during a season, it would be at Augusta. It ain't going to be at the PGA Championship or the U.S. Open. It would be at Augusta. So Tiger Woods, 6,800. I got him at 3% right now. I mean, 10% is, 3 or 4x the field, depending on where he comes in at. I'm going to be right there. So that's pretty much it here. There's really a lot of guys you can cross out, but I would just be cautious. Like if you're maxing any of those tournaments or even like 50 or more, don't be too critical on these cheap guys. Because if you're jamming in Scotty and stuff, in my opinion at least, you're probably going to want to sprinkle of a couple of these guys at like 3% or 4% wherever you land, just to try to cover your bases if you really got a tight core.
I mean, the other thing too is warmer temps than what we've had in the past, right? I mean, it's a benefit to Mr.
I mean, we'll see what Thursday
Tiger
holds with
Woods.
the rain and stuff. It could be shit for him, but
yeah.
You just at Augusta,
he'll have 3 layers on the morning round he plays. It'll be so cold.
And all right. So the
Those
one
older
event he
guys
played,
need layers. AP, you'll get there one day when you're old like me. You need layer. You got to layer up when you go out. Sometimes in the morning to go.
I got multiple layers. I mean, it's not clothing, but it's fat. It's a different type of layer.
I saw Mickelson was like minus 125 over Woods. I don't like clearly either one, but I think Mickelson, that's free money.
Well, what happens with Tiger WDs? Is it a push or does Mickelson, if they tee off, it's action? Because that's probably the biggest risk for Tiger is finishing.
I think it's action, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's probably a fair line because it's just you don't know if he's going to play 72 holes. But his upside is obviously winning. I mean, honestly, I do believe that it's possible he could win this thing.
Aldrich could do it.
He might play one event the rest of his life every year, and it'll be Augusta. And that would be the one he's trying to get to Jack's 18, just Augusta for the next 10 years.
That press conference he did today, he looked miserable up there.
I'm sure he is miserable. He hasn't had sex in a month.
Wait, if that's true, I can't play Tiger.
He says he's abstaining so that he can be ready for Augusta. I don't know how that correlates, but maybe it's like testosterone or something. I don't know.
I'm fully against abstaining. I'm against that.
It's a weird thing to say, though.
Wait, did he didn't actually say that, right?
He actually said it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
but I can't.
It's a weird thing to come out and say. Just do it and not say
If
it.
he said the exact opposite, then I would be all in. If he was like, "Oh, I'm banging, chicks left and right," then yeah, I'm playing Tiger Woods. But
well, I didn't get the context. It could have been sarcastic. Like
he needs to peek in
DJ
and Brooks's window. He'll figure it out.
My wife just walked by my office and shook her head.
Tell her to blame Uncle T.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Tiger Woods. Now the chat was saying that I was going to be the one that would play Phil and Tiger. I did not have them in my pool. Out of respect, I could get some shares of Mr. Tiger Woods. I don't know if I can get there. I mean, Drew, you make a compelling case, but we will see. Snyder, what are you doing with the 66K range?
Yeah, I think I'm going to sprinkle in some Eldrick in there at 60. I think that's a fair price tag for him there. I'm going to sprinkle some Eldrick in there. I did hear Zalatoris in his one interview that he was given. He played with Tiger in a practice round.
Who's gonna ever say that Tiger Woods was like hitting it
That's
bad?
true, but we don't know. But we don't know.
He's like, I've never seen Tiger hit it so good in the last 2 years.
Oh,
dude,
but imagine being like, oh, like he was okay, like he wasn't hitting it that good. You're gonna be hated. Like no one's gonna say that.
Gosh,
they are the Tiger Woods value thought.
But it's very believable. I mean, it's not like if they said that about Phil Mickelson, I'd be like bullshit. Like, no, he's not striping it. There's no way. But Tiger, like maybe he's just here for that reason. I don't know.
If he finished T20, I would not be surprised this week.
This is like the hardest course for him to walk, but they never talk about his walking issues. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I just don't know why you don't.
If he had a cart, I would be all They should let him have a cart.
If he had a cart and was on the bench regularly the last month, I'd be on board.
Maybe that's why he's not having sex. He can't, like his knee hurts or something. He can't get on his knees.
And that's tough, man. That's a tough click. What about Jake Knapp, or your boy Snyder?
Yeah,
that's like your guy.
Jake Knapp. The one live guy I was going to play. I was talking to Club Cam earlier today. He was on his way to some freaking multi-million-dollar Calcutta or something, but he's like, you got to play Sergio some this week. So I looked into Sergio a little bit. He's actually been playing decent over on Live. 4 of the last 8 events over on Live have been T6 or better. He got second last week at Durrell. I think he lost in the playoff to Dean there. I think I'm going to play some Sergio there at 6,800 as well. He's a past winner of this event. I'm going to sprinkle in some Sergio at 68. I think Chris Kirk's a good option there at 6,900. I think he's a strong option. I think he's the guy that could T25 again like he did last year. So I'm going to have him in there. Jake Knapp, I like his off the tee game. I think he's a guy that I'll have in there. He'll be like 1% owned or something, I bet. Moronk, I'll have some of him in there for Uncle T. And then there's a couple guys down here. Taylor Moore's going to be like a 10% owned as well. I don't know if I'm going to play him or not. I may just fade him because I'm definitely fading Denny. I'm not playing him, but I may some more.
Like, real quick, how are like Denny and Taylor Moore, like, how are they getting more ownership than Adam Schenk? Like, Adam Schenk's actually been playing some pretty good golf.
Going to get to, yeah.
And he's been consistent too.
Yeah,
I love that take, Snyder.
But I think Taylor Moore's game actually does set up pretty well for this event. He was T40 in his first debut here. He's rounding into form too. He's bettered his finish in the last 4 events, finishing second his last event. So I do believe the Taylor Moore hype a little bit. So I probably will play him some. But I do like Schenk at like a third the ownership of Moore. I think Schenk is a great option down there for a punt. I mean, he's the guy that could easily T20 here, I think, or at least finish inside the top 30. And then Lucas Glover is the other guy at 6,300. I don't think he's getting that much ownership. No, I got him around 5%. So Lucas Glover at 6,300 is another guy I'll be on. He was T30 here back in 22. Has a decent recent form heading in here. So I think Lucas Glover at 6'3" kind of helps make a lot of things work as well.
Yeah, very good. I'll be honest, like, there's not a lot I like down here. Adam Schenk stuck out a little bit, but I'm honestly, like, I want my builds to end in the 7K range. I just don't see a lot that I like down here. So I'm sure I'll get a few shares of, a few of these pieces, but I really don't like too much. Eric Cole, fine. I don't see him being like a guy. Like, I don't see a lot of guys down here being like a guy we're going to look at it on Sunday and being like, yeah, that's our guy. That's who got it done. Not a lot. Like, like Sergio, I mean, man, I'll have to go and look at the live stuff, but Sergio Garcia, like, really? Like, he's missed the cut here like 100 times.
Hey, I mean, play a sprinkle. He's going to be what, like 5% owned?
And he's going to be 5% owned?
Probably somewhere around there, I bet.
AP wants it at 0.5.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like? What am I missing? Like, what? So he's been playing decent on live.
He's playing good. I mean, he's cheap.
Okay,
just a punt.
All right. Yeah. That might be one of those 360, moves where it's like I make fun of it and then I get on board. I'll have to do that with Sergio Garcia. But no, I mean, as it stands right now, I don't really want to mess with a lot. And we got my boy Sepp Straka down here too, but I don't think this course sets up well for Sepp in his game. He's got no around the green game. Like JT Poston, I don't see him being that guy. I mean, maybe, but I don't really see it. Maybe I could get on board with like I think actually Jake Knapp, just because he's got that kind of gamer mentality in him. I could see him popping, and then it's Adam Schenk punting. But I literally only like him off of like a Chalk Denny down here as well. So like I don't really like Adam Schenk that much. But he's cheap, and I don't want a chalky guy, cheap guy down there. So I'm not going to have a lot of the 6K range. Let's wrap this up. Let's give our winners who we think is going to win, where odds don't matter, and then a longer-ish shot that we like this week that we can bet in the outright markets. Uncle T, let's start with you. Who do you got?
Yeah, I had one guy coming into the show, and I already bet a couple of these guys up top. I think Hideki's going to win his second. He's 20-1. I know the odds aren't great on him. DFS, he's 9K, but 20-1, they bet him down. It's probably not the best number, but I do think Hideki might get it done again, guys. I think he might be in line to get his second green jacket. And then going down the board just a little bit, I'm going to go with Cam Young, 55 or 50-1. If that's a long enough shot for you, AP. Cam Young, I just think if he can get hot a little bit with the putter, I think he can be live on Sunday. I really do.
All right, very good. Cam Young and Hideki for Uncle T. Drew, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to use Cam Young as the longer guy down the board.
Come on, you can join. We can join forces.
Just seems to make sense.
It does.
Anyways. Because there's really no one else. I mean, I'll be different. I'll say Corey Connors. He's a little bit longer odds. I think they're fairly similar in their opportunities to win here this week. And then for like the top range, I'm just going to go off the board, man. I think Neiman's the guy. I think we get another Spanish-speaking winner.
All right.
Yeah. What is the odds? I got to pull this up. Maybe Snyder has it. What's Sungjae's outright right now?
Oof.
I gotta load more.
Is it 100 plus?
Sungjae is 100-1 on DK right now.
Yeah,
It's crazy. 7,600.
Yeah, don't even sprinkle
you
it.
can get 120 on FanDuel.
Yeah, so I forget which one of y'all was talking about. Somebody with AP.
That's me.
Maybe that's the number.
That's a good
120-1 at 7.
I'll be on the sidelines again this week, waving to all of you. All of you guys counting your money. Me
Let's
just
see
like,
what he
hey.
is on Pinnacle.
He's down here with Olafable.
VJ.
Yeah, I got 120-1.
150
over
on Pinnacle.
FanDuel.
150 on Pinnacle. He's just dropping. He's dropping as we speak. Everything we say about him, he's going down.
He's right there with Tiger on Pinnacle. Tiger's 160.
Yeah, take Tiger Woods. You gave a good speech on Tiger. It can be your long shot, Drew. I mean, it's probably better than mine.
Maybe better odds on 160.
All right, Snyder.
I just think maybe he can finish in the top 20. We'll see.
I'm gonna go
Snyder, who you got?
I'm going to go with the major killer. I'm just going to go with BK. It's been a long time coming. I think he breaks through to fight back from a couple of second-place finishes he's had here. I think BK gets it done this week. 20-1 is the best number I'm seeing right now at FanDuel. And then my long shot is going to be – I'm going to go Shane Lowry at 55-1 for my longer shot.
I like that call.
Yeah.
I think Rory gets it done. What is he, 11-1?
Yep.
Is that what you got, Snyder? 11-1?
Yeah, it's the best
Rory's
number.
time. As far as I mean, man, I got to do it. As far as like a longish, I mean, it gets tough like at these majors and especially at the Masters. Like going like again, like Sungjae. I mean, yeah, like it gets tough when you get down there. And this is probably a bad one too, but I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of money on my boy Justin Thomas. I think that might be the better route than like committing on the DFS end. Just lose some outright money versus DFS money.
Don't forget about that.
You can get 45-1 on JT right now.
Yeah, and it's more of that. What's crazy is Patrick Cantlay is also 40-1.
Yeah.
Same with Victor Hovland. So and Matt Fitzpatrick 40-1, right up there too. I mean, he'd be another.
AP, real quick. I know we got to go. We don't usually talk about matchups too much, but Koepka right
Go
now
ahead.
minus 120 over Hovland. I love that. BK minus 120 over Hovland.
I like
think
that too.
I like that a lot.
Snyder, any matchups real quick that you like?
Nah, just Scotty versus the world.
Yeah.
There was a match here. They got something.
It's not a
on
bad bet
Pinnacle.
either.
They got a Scotty versus the field on Pinnacle. Let me see where it was.
Sounds like an outright.
Scotty
It
versus
sounds like an
field.
outright.
It's
Right?
Scotty's plus
There
480.
you go, unless you can
against
take the field, yeah.
The field is minus 700 against Scotty.
There you go. Field versus Scotty. All right, guys. Great show. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. The rest of our shows are going to be premium for the week. Our guy Big T will be on Tomorrow he's on an absolute heater. And I will say one thing regarding Tiger Woods. If our guy Big T, if Tiger Woods is in his pool, I mean, this dude is on a heater. We know what happens when he is on a heater. He's up I think 250 or 240K over the past couple of weeks. The guy is just absolutely mowing it down in all sports, If he is on Eldrick, if he is on Tiger Woods, I will get on.
I was with
Tiger
him today.
Woods.
Should I tease it or should I wait?
There's no way he's on it. He's off the workbench. There's no way.
I mean, tease it without giving it away. I mean,
Why?
I probably can't do that.
Without giving it away, I'm either going to say he's on him or he isn't.
That's probably true. Yeah,
No.
Let's wait for the premium. But yeah, that will run tomorrow night. Usually goes pretty late. A good time. Trying to think who else is on. Usually they just bring whoever on there. I'm sure Wiley will be on there. Andy will be on there from the course. Yeah, that's right. So again, member only show. Make sure that you that you sign up. And Andy's been walking the course too, so he's going to provide some other insight as well. But yeah, for that, absolutely pumped for this week, Masters Week. We're all excited. Let's run Pier for Uncle T, for our guy Drew, for Snyder. I'm AP. Let's run Pier.